Hey everybody, Conodger here. Welcome to Let's Play Google Chrome. No, not really. We're going to be playing automation, but to start out here I want to give an explanation of what the heck you're looking at and what's going on. We're going to be doing the Car Tycoon Challenge. This is round number 4 of that. This is the first one I've competed in though. It is put on by Durbuyer, who is helping out the developers kind of get the Tycoon elements of the game kind of organized and getting a lot of data points for it. So here's the features. Basically, it is a well, it's a lot of spreadsheets and a lot of work like that for him, but it is 15 groups of buyers with different preferences. Hopefully, lots of opponents, and it looks like we are doing pretty well there. You have to manage your engineering, tooling, and pricing and such. There is a spreadsheet available here that will show you basically the cost of all of these elements, because none of this stuff is in the game just yet. But pretty easy to use. You just transfer it over to the spreadsheet, whatever you have in the game. The insecurity of what rivals will throw on the market. We don't know what anybody else is doing pretty much. Everybody's going to know what I'm doing because it's in video, but I'm not too worried about it because I am a noob and I'm not worried about winning. A detailed analysis of your pricing, that's similar to what we just saw in the spreadsheet there. And one single rule: build a car in 1977. Build whatever car you want and see what your company would do. See how your company would do. There is 4 categories to win in. Biggest overall profit, most cars sold with a profit, biggest profit per car, and biggest market share per target group. So there are the target groups: compact, cheap, compact, mid, hot hatch, cheap, mid, middle, priced, mid, and by mid I mean like mid-sized car basically. Mid sport, large, fairly expensive, large, really expensive, and track day. Track day is probably the one. Oops, I've probably just messed up this screen. My apologies, but we needed. Okay, and then there is also GT, supercar, transport, family, off-road, cheap, and off-road mid. There is, so you can see with a mid cheap car, mid-sized cheap car, there's 48,000 buyers out there potentially. So if you're going to build something to try and get the most cars sold, that's probably what you're going to go for. Or, you know, maybe even the compact mid or the compact cheap, stuff like that. And if you're going to go for something maybe like making the most profit per car, you might go for the track day GT, a luxury, like a large high dollar car, who knows, even an off-road car. So there's currently 31 people entered, and you're going to be competing against those people for these same buyers. So if you want to go and try and get that biggest overall profit or most cars sold, you're probably going to want to be going. You're probably going to be going up against a lot of people in these larger categories. But that doesn't mean you couldn't make a niche car like a Corvette or an exotic, you know, a GT or supercar, track day car, and take over that category, because there's probably going to be less people in it. Alright, last thing is that there is 2 cars per participant allowed. You can do teams of 2. I will be working with Cooper, who is the person that has kind of insisted that I start these Car Tycoon challenges. It's just taken a little while due to scheduling and whatnot. So he will be helping me out in this one. Let us go ahead and jump into the game and start working on some cars. Alrighty, I am here with Cooper. Introduce yourself.
Hello.
Oh, what an introduction. We are going to build first a 1977 thing. I'm leaning towards the kind of sports car that is cheap and kind of, I don't want to say boring, but not expensive. And I'm kind of leaning towards that whole Celica 1970s GT kind of car, which was a 4-cylinder, light, cheap car. So we're going to start with that one.
In we go.
So, this is 1977. Surprisingly to me, we're not going to lose a whole lot in that. Now, when it comes to the Celica, it was actually a monocoque chassis. I don't believe it was body on frame. Is that really common for 77 though?
I don't know, but looking at the difference between them, if we actually want to be competitive, we kind of have to go monocoque.
Yeah, I think it's the smart choice. I don't know if anybody would choose a ladder for this kind of car. Maybe for a bigger car they would.
It's actually cheaper to go monocoque as well. What is the negative of it?
I would tell you if it would tell me. It's not telling me though.
If you click on steel, it should tell you.
Okay.
And then switch between ladder and monocoque.
So the weight seems to be the massive thing, and safety is a big thing too.
Okay, well,
cost is there. I mean, tooling cost is very low for a ladder versus high for monocoque.
Well, there we go. We kind of have to go monocoque.
We have to. I don't want it. Extreme high weight is not what I'm looking for.
No, just high.
Just high, yeah.
Yeah, it needs some sort of chassis stiffness to be able to make it around the corner.
I've never used just regular steel. I always go for the galvanized. But
it benefits you in that your reliability goes up at the end. The overall reliability because of that environmental resist.
And for this one, in the target groups, we're kind of thinking this is either going to fall under hot hatch or the mid-sport. We'll see at the end, I guess, where it kind of lies, though. So
it doesn't. Thankfully, with the way he's doing it, your buyer, it's going to. You can take colors. You can take buyers from different markets.
Right.
So if we make it fit within a couple, it'll buy from people from a couple will buy it.
Right, and that's good to have. So we're going longitudinal on this one.
Ooh, daring.
And McPherson strut is my pretty much go-to for front suspension.
Yeah, it's going to be because we want some utility in this as well.
Right, and double wishbone's got to be expensive.
Low.
Yeah, high.
And the average instead of low off-road actually makes more of a difference than you'd think.
Really?
It's maybe 5 or 6 points for utility.
Hey, you know what really makes a difference in off-road?
It really also makes a difference for sportiness.
It also makes a big difference if you use off-road tires when you build an off-road car.
Yeah.
I know that now. Alright, rear suspension. I'm always a little bit confused as to what to do here, especially with the older cars.
I wouldn't go solid axle for this.
It doesn't... nothing about it seems great, other than the fact it's very compact. It's got great load capacity. But sportiness, nothing.
It's good for a truck, but we're not building a truck.
Right. So what's the difference between trailing arm and a double wishbone? A bunch of cost, maybe?
Compactness, it's going to be able to handle less weight. It's going to be worse at off-road, but it's going to be sportier and tamer.
So should we match it? I mean, we were looking at... that's pretty much the same, huh?
You can do two different. You can do semi-trailing and double wishbone, or McPherson and double wishbone, and it's going to bounce. You get something in between. But
so that's what we'll stick with for now, then.
Yeah.
And panel material, fiberglass. No, not really. Steel. I'm not gonna mess with the quality sliders until the end, really. This is the body I have chosen to use. I would lean towards the Stereon one, but it doesn't look 70s enough. So this one also doesn't really look that 70s, but I think we can make it look 70s.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. And two-door or four-door, though?
That's a tough choice. I think I want to go with two-door just because it kind of fits my theme better, and I'm very theme-driven. I'm not very points-driven, so for this one, I'm going to go for the two-door.
Okay.
Even though it is 0.1 pound heavier, for whatever reason.
Oh, no.
So I will work on the body and take your advice, and we'll probably fast forward through this. And as it goes, it'll actually go out to there.
We're not building J-Lo.
Look how much rear window you can put in that sucker.
Great visibility.
Yeah.
Think green? No.
No. No?
No.
Whoa. That's pretty 70s.
It's, yeah, a little too 70s.
Well, I kind of like that color.
I'm still a traditionalist. I find myself using the old ones the most.
Oh, that's the derpiest looking car. Hey guys. Alright, this is the design I have chosen to go for the hatchback coupe version. It's somewhat hatchbacked, as hatchback as I can get it. If you keep extending this window, it just starts to get hideous. Yeah. Cooper really wanted the 4-door, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. So
it's kind of, I don't know.
He gets to design the hot hatch that will be this car's sibling. So I'm okay with taking the design cues for it. I really like the spoiler. That's my favorite part. The whole back end of it it's a little British looking, but I really like it. But enough of the car design. Let's move on to an engine. Now, in the time that has been between me working on the car and now, you have been working on an engine.
I have, but it's a little bit wacky.
Hey, it sounds like you got something pretty cool going. So just start reading stuff off and I'll kind of follow along.
Okay, so that engine, if you give me a minute to pull it up. Gosh, I can't handle it. Alright, so it was a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder. Do you want to go that small?
I'm okay with that small. Really, that's kind of in the range that these cars had.
Okay, so I had aluminum block. I'm not sure if we should go with that, though.
To get the points, I think it would be great, but to me that doesn't seem realistic.
Well, I don't know about getting the points, because even then, you're losing some weight, but it does lower your reliability a little bit.
Right.
And it's a little bit higher friction, so you lose a little bit of power and a little bit of economy.
I mean, obviously we're going to have to go cast iron, block, and head, because you can't mix metals in this year.
No, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, so let's stick with cast iron for now, and we'll see if it holds together.
Okay.
But what kind of, was it square, or?
It was 77 by 80.
What's that gonna be in inches?
Oh, 77 millimeters to inches. 3.03.
3.03. I don't know if that's 3.03. 3.1, close enough.
And then 3.14. Hey, pi inches.
It's pi inches. Oh, I can get that one. No, I get 3.114. How about 3.14? No, 3.142.
What's your capacity?
1486.
Close enough. That was 1490.
So let's... There we go, 1490.
Okay, and then I went cast iron for a crank, but I-beam steel and forged for pistons.
Whoa!
And
Big spender here.
big spender? I don't know. Is it a big spender?
It's pretty expensive.
Is it?
When you look at the thing that costs you money isn't the material cost, it's the production units. You're gaining a production unit on that. 6 production units for the forged versus 4. But we're doing something pretty crazy here, so I'm okay with going with it.
Yeah, and there's no reason to go with forged H-beam over I-beam steel for this.
Right. Well, we can't even...
Because who cares about emissions?
Right.
Okay.
So far as the top end goes...
Now, I had dual overhead cam 5 valves. I'm not sure we should go with that.
To me... I mean, I know I said I'm kind of going for the points, but to me that seems...
A little bit extreme.
Seems a little extreme.
How about
even
dual overhead cam?
Even dual overhead cam is kind of extreme.
So how about a 4-valve overhead cam?
I guess that would be too. But if we're gonna go with 4-valve, I think we might as well go for the dual.
Yep. And if we want to have a fun little motor, it's got to spin fast.
Yeah. There will probably be no other engine like this in the history of time, but you know.
I'm just waiting once we put a turbo on this thing, and you see the little twist that this intake does, and then goes over there, and then around and below.
I bet you it's interesting.
It's interesting.
All right, compression.
I had 8.9.
8.9 sounds very turbo motor-ish.
And then a 57 on the cam profile, which is fairly sporty, but this was going to be a sporty motor.
Yeah, and that's reasonable. It's not getting crazy. All right, so this turbo you're gonna have to help me out with because I don't.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy looking. And we it's not even intercooled yet.
Nope. Water air medium intercooler.
Water air medium.
Very important to get this cool.
Okay.
Because
look at that hose.
And boost is.
I just want to note the distance between the engine and the intercooler there.
That's why you're going to see the intercooler clipping through the car.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, which preset did you use, or do you have stats?
I have custom.
Okay.
I 39.5 by 39.5 by 0.86 by 7.64.
Okay. I don't know what any of that means.
Okay, compressor 39.5.
Okay.
And turbine 9.5.
What's that going to be in inches?
Oh, no. Okay.
Break out the calculator.
39.5. That was millimeters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, good. I don't know what I was thinking. Millimeters to inches.
If it was centimeters, man, this thing's going to be a monster.
1.555 inches.
Okay.
For both compressor and turbine.
All right. That looks correctly sized. What's your AR?
0.86.
And max boost.
7.64.
Very reasonable.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a carburetor, so.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do with that.
Yeah. I love the pretzel little thing.
Yeah, this right here, this whole setup right here is really fun.
No? Oh.
Yeah, the carburetor is actually post filter. So the filter is here. I don't know why it does this crazy maneuver here. It could have just easily been a filter right here. But here's where the fuel will get hit.
It's shiny.
But it is shiny, I understand. So I'm assuming 4-barrel carburetor.
Oh yes, yeah, 4-barrel carburetor.
Performance shiny.
For performance intake, and this engine actually manages to run on regular leaded.
Not bad, not bad.
I had a 13.6 for my fuel mixture,
Okay.
51 for ignition timing,
That's a little
and
low.
7,400 for RPM limit.
7,400.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he's going for it.
Though your valves are slightly different, so you might have some issues there.
Yeah. We're probably going to run into some float. Well, maybe not. I mean, 4 versus 5 should be better.
No, because the valves are lighter for 5 valves, so it's easier for it to spin faster.
Okay. I can buy
I
that.
had 2 inches for exhaust diameter, and then no first muffler and a straight through second, though I could go reverse flow for the second.
Nah, I want to hear this thing scream.
At
Something.
7,600, or what was it, 7,400?
Something like that.
One of those.
Alright, so what was yours, Megan?
Mine was making... Oh, that's trim. There we go. 151 horsepower at 6,600 and 131 foot-pounds of torque at 5,000.
Alright, let's see.
Even though that seems a lot shorter than the red line, it's barely falling off.
Okay, we'll see what this one does. It idles, okay, it didn't explode.
The graph looks good. Looks identical.
In all
like
reality,
how-
it should be close.
I love how we're trying to predict this before it goes.
Look at that torque curve.
Yeah,
That's-
it's still pretty early-ish.
Yeah, but it's got a it's got a neck snapper in there.
That's the fun part.
145.
It's not bad.
Let's see, we got 87.3, and then what were we using? 87.4, so we're using up all that.
Okay, mine was 151 and 130. This is just from 4 valves to 5 valves, but
Right.
also my economy was 15.13.
This one's 14.69.
What was your reliability?
37.3.
38.2. That's the valve float there.
So,
But what's your production units and material cost?
okay, production units 26
That's a lot cheaper.
and 1191.
That's a lot cheaper. Mine was 37 and 13.
Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is back off on that rev limit. Maybe go down 300-400.
I'd say go down to 7,000, 7,100, something around there. We want to keep a little bit of overrun.
Okay, that brought our reliability up to 41.5.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. It's still got a little bit of overrun to it, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Turbo's holding nice and steady.
And the horsepower graph isn't too jagged.
It's
For
not
daily
terrible.
driving, you can idle around fairly well in that lower band.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm okay with that. Do you have a name for this? Because I have one in mind if you don't.
I don't have one.
And
But it's 70s, not 80s.
70s was pretty disco.
Yeah, a little bit. Less so, but still there.
80s you started getting into some...
Hey, if you're gonna name it that, you gotta change that valve cover.
You gotta have something that's bright and crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I think that one's pretty good.
Yellow.
with the chrome writing.
There we go.